Welcome to the Online Entrepreneur Experience podcast that details the ins and outs, the how-tos, and the ups and downs of living a life of an online business owner.
What's happening, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Online Entrepreneur Experience. I'm Deuces. That's the Viking marketer. Look at him. Beautiful, beautiful man.
You're beautiful. You're beautiful.
In all my glory.
Yeah, that's right. So today, guys, I want to talk to you about the 80-20 rule. I know a lot of you guys have heard of the 80-20 rule, but this way I've kind of tweaked it a little bit so that it works well with business. So what I mean by the 80-20 is 20% skill, 80% business. I'm going to dive into examples and what that actually means after Mark says a little hello.
It's time! Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome to our show. Look, guys, I'm super tired today, but Renee said that he'd bring enough energy for the both of us. So, just bear with me, okay? So if I'm not, as perked up as normal, I apologize ahead of time. But I thought one of the cool things that Renee was just talking about is most people would think that, that equation of the 80-20, if you're, thinking about business smarts or IQ or aspirations or actions, should be higher than actually the skill level. And most people, they just focus so much on skill. And it's just not the facts. Most times, skill doesn't matter. And if you look at a guy like Tom Brady, this guy, he was drafted in the 6th round of the NFL draft. And I'm sorry that I'm talking about football like usual, but it was the NFL draft this weekend. Renee walked into my house as the Eagles are picking. And I was like, I'm sorry, I know you just drove here to see me, but you need to
shut your fucking mouth, you'll do nothing. You'll do fucking nothing.
He's not lying.
Yeah, and he's like, I get it, man. I'll just sit in the corner. It's cool. But anyway, so if you look at a guy like Tom Brady, this guy was drafted in the 6th round. They said that, he didn't have the physical aspirations to be an NFL quarterback. He didn't have the arm strength and a bunch of other intangibles that they said. Now, this guy's the greatest quarterback of all times. I used to debate it. There's no debate anymore. He's great. He's just gone on for too long with excellence. There's just no debate anymore. But what this guy lacked in skill, he had in football IQ. And it's the same thing with business. And Renee's going to jump into this in 1 second. But the big thing here is that you just have to understand that you don't have to be the most skillful person or the most innate person. You were born with ruggedly good looks or this crazy charisma, or you're just, when you did your SATs, you scored off the map, any of those kind of things. You don't need any of those things. And I'll give you an example in a second of that it pertains to myself. But I'm going to kick it back to Deuces here. But just really, really know that you don't need all those innate things. And the likelihood of you having them is so low, and focusing on them will only be a disservice for you.
So thanks for that, Mark. I'm so glad you brought football into this.
Well, I had to bring up not just football, but how I was telling people how I had prioritized it over you. So they needed to know.
I'm sure they understand. So when it comes to 20% skill versus 80% business mind, I can give you a couple examples. Now, an old friend of mine, he started a roofing company, and he just hired people to do the actual roofing, the skill set side of it, and he did the business side. So he focused on the 80% side, and he was super successful because he didn't need the skill. The skill was basically purchased by hiring people who have been roofing for years and years and years and years. And he took that business from an idea that he had. And I mean, a roofing company, there's how many out there? Hundreds of them in the city that you're in right now. Unless you're in a small town like me, 500 people. There's probably not 100.
There's 100 roofing companies. Oh, no.
Yeah. So he took that business, and what he did is he went and targeted houses that were hit with hail. And so it was all insurance claims. So now he can charge through the roof, and he paid his employees a fair wage, but he was actually making more money. And because he focused on the 80%, he was able to be successful. Now, if you flip the coin and you take someone who, let's say, has been welding for 20 years, and now he wants to start his own business, and he's focusing on his skill set of welding and not focusing on the actual business, yeah, he's going to be successful, but he's not going to progress to the point of owning your own job to owning a business, because his focus is on the smaller 20%. So in order for him to grow, he's going to have to hire people, and then he will actually not like the way they're doing it because it doesn't match his skill set, which he's been focusing on, if that makes sense.
Oh, 100%, man. And it's like
Story time with Mark.
it goes to this conversation that my wife was having with one of her friends, and one of her friends, they had this baby shower this weekend, and she was there and like celebrating they're having a baby boy, awesome stuff.
Nice.
And so the soon-to-be dad, even though he is already a dad at 2, but soon to be a dad again. And he just bought a brand new Dodge truck. I forget what type, but it was like over 100K, like the nicest Dodge truck that's out there. That's the one that he purchased, like pre-ordered and everything like that. But he already had a Dodge truck, and she's like, "Well, why don't you just like rent out your Dodge truck?" And he's like, "Well, it needs a transmission in it. It's fine, it runs and everything like that. Transmission is gonna be like 5K. I just would rather just like let it sit for a while. When my boys turn 16, I'll just give it to them." And she's just like, "Well, why don't you just like rent out your truck then, and then it'll pay for the transmission. Then you can give the vehicle to your sons with a brand new transmission that didn't come out of your pocket." It's not like he can't afford the 5K or anything like that. It's just an unnecessary expense is probably what he's thinking. But if your vehicle can pay for itself, why wouldn't you do that? He's like, "Nah, but they'll probably just rat bag it." And it's just like one thing after another that she's like coming up with solutions to this person's problem, but all they're focused on is the problems that's going to happen. And clearly it's just they don't want to be an entrepreneur. Like it's just that's not who they want to be. That's not what they aspire to be. That's not an income source that they want to bring. They're okay where they're at. And this is what happens to a lot of people that have skills. They are so focused on the skills, but they don't understand what happens behind the operational stance. And like it's crazy because like my father-in-law, he is arguably like the best body man like I've ever seen. Like this guy does some crazy custom job. He redid this 69 step side truck. And like he redid it by like I'm saying like he customized the body in so many different ways. He would move one thing and then would have to customize like 3 other things. Like the guy is just so talented. Like he used like the CNC machine to like bevel the hood in different ways, like super crazy and everything like that. But back in the day, like when my now wife was just a little girl, he owned his own body shop. Now he owned his own body shop for like 3 years, but the body shop went under, and it was just because he was really good at what he did, but he just wasn't a business person. And all the business stuff, the marketing, the sales, the like paperwork, it was just too overwhelming, and it just wasn't his forte. He just was one of those guys, wanted to come to work, do what was in front of him, bust his butt really quickly so he could get paid top dollar and then go home. But he left so much money on the table because if he would have just ran his business, he would have been able to set his own rates, not just get the bare minimum. When he just retired last year, he was only making $25 an hour, even though he's one of the most talented body men I've ever, $35 an hour. 25 to 30, no, he told me $25 an hour. He was making
Crazy.
at Chevrolet in Trail, being a body man, and he's so talented. But that's what happens when you just have skills, right?
Yeah, it's crazy when you focus on the skill like your father-in-law was, because it's ironically enough, I'm actually a 2nd year auto body apprentice from years ago.
Sounds
So
made up, bro.
not anymore, I'm sure it's So I know what it takes to fix a vehicle, and I know what it takes to paint a vehicle and all that stuff. So it is a mastered skill set, but so is business. That is something that, like when your father-in-law first started, was he good when he first came out of the gate? Of course not.
He never told me those kind of stories, but because most people don't talk about their starting places, they talk about how great they are now, right?
Yeah.
But like, I'm gonna guess no.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm assuming he wasn't that good, and he learned as he tried and failed and tried and failed, and eventually got that skill set to where it is today. And it's the same thing with business. If you go out and you branch out and start a business based on your particular skill set that you've built up at this point, you're not going to be good at business. You're gonna fail. You're gonna have those moments where you're like pulling your hair out. You don't know how you're going to make ends meet, how you're going to pay your employees or anything like that. But that's the learning, is when you fail, you learn, fail, you learn, and you build it up. But if you are building your business while focusing on the skill set, that's when the business is probably in about 3 years going to go under. So how does this relate to online business though? Because that's what we do. That's what Mark does. That's what I do. That's what we teach other people how to do. So how does this pertain to online business?
I think in just so many massive capacities, right? Like maybe you're like it's funny because both Renee and me came into this as the exact same kind of person. We both came into this thinking like, holy fuck, like we're awesome at sales. Like this should be no problem. Like this should be no problem. And we both got like hit with this very, very like Mike Tyson punch right to the face.
It was very humbling.
Got this
Very humbling.
We got KO'd like right on our back. Like it wasn't multiple punches, it was one. And we found out really quickly that there's a much bigger difference than like sales and like say the real world and sales in the online world. It's just a different skill set and everything like that. And like so we had some talent, but Renee also came into this with this innate gift of just like really good storytelling and really good way of writing and everything like that. So because of that, like he picked up copywriting really, really quickly, really, really easily, which was great for Renee. But that didn't like, if all he ever did was write good copy, would he ever be able to say hit 6 figures a year, 7 figures a year, 8 figures a year? No, not if he's just running his own business. Maybe he's writing copy for other people and everything like that. Maybe at that point in time, if you become, profound enough. But if that's not your business, is writing copy for other people, and you're actually trying to run a different style of business where you're trying to acquire customers to teach them skills, that isn't going to get you anywhere, because the biggest thing is you need an audience. And if all you're doing is talking to nobody, like who are you going to sell to? Like you can go to a big field and talk and be the best person at speech and articulation and candor and tonality and all that good stuff. But if no one's there listening, it really doesn't freaking matter what you just said, right?
Yeah, it doesn't even matter if it falls on deaf ears, if it's not falling on any ears.
Exactly.
So there's a lot of skills that go into building an online business. You can just type in how to start an online business and you will be bombarded with all these people claiming to be gurus, claiming to be the best of the best.
We're the only gurus, right? Like,
yeah, team effort. Together we are one.
Yeah. Was that the ET finger?
It was 2 snakes kissing.
Oh, 2 snakes. Okay.
Let your imagination run wild. So anyway, back on track. There's going to be a lot of people that say, oh, you need a landing page. Oh, you need to learn TikTok. You need to learn all the different social media platforms. And whether one way is correct or not is up for debate. I know what I've done and I know it works. But my point is, all these skills that you need to learn can be taught. And once you have the skill set, now you focus on the business side of it. And that's what we teach, is the business side of it. So get your skill set, focus on the business, And now you can actually grow and move up and reach those goals that you set for yourself.
100%. And you don't even need to have your like skill set perfected or anything like that. You just need to have a skill set. Like you just need to have one. And if you have a skill set of any kind of capacity, even if it's at a 2, but if you can get your business like IQ level at like 8, you're gonna win. And that's why they say like marketing matters more than the product that you have. Because like honestly, if you have the best pen in the world, but nobody can see it, it doesn't really matter. Like you're great at making pens, that's great, but no one's going to buy them because no one knows about it, right? But if you have this great marketing campaign, it really doesn't matter how great your pen is, people are going to buy it. So it's just like that's where that whole like business side comes in, so much more than the skill set. You could be the most skilled laborer in the world at crafting doors, but if nobody knows that you even exist in the world, you have 0 customers.
No, that's exactly right. And I mean, the other side of the coin is you could have all the customers and they would line up to buy a shitty product. You used a pen as an example. Well, let's run with that and let's go like a ballpoint Bic pen. You could buy 100 of them for $6. Like, but everybody has them and everybody's heard of Bic pens. That's the point. Is they focus more on the business than the actual product or the service or the skill set, and they're huge, right?
Massive, bro. But like, look at the pet rock. Like, what kind of like value did this pet rock have? No, it just had really good marketing. They're really good at business, really good at storytelling, really good at like designing and curating a product. But it was a fucking rock that you could get outside. But they became millionaires because they just knew business better than most people at that stage. So they made something out of nothing, and people were lining up to buy it.
It's so funny you bring up the pet rock and marketing and all that, because I just watched a video about the marketing that they did.
No way, man. I've actually never seen the market. I just imagine because of like what goes from point A, but I'd love to hear a little bit about it.
So what they did is they created like a little nest out of fake straw inside a box and put the rock on it. And then they shipped it in a cardboard box that looks like, I don't know if you ever rescued a cat from a SPCA up here in Canada, but they give you a box that has, as it folds up, it has a handle on the top and it's got the big distinct holes on the top. Yeah. That's exactly the same box that the pet rock came in, but
the rock needed to breathe, bro. Like exactly. You don't want to be inhumane.
Yeah. It came with a little booklet to tell you how to take care of your pet rock.
No.
Yeah. Take it for walks, give it water, give it baths, like spend time with it. And just that marketing, everyone just wanted a pet rock. And then technology picked up and then the Tamagotchis came out.
Those were the best, bro. I still got one.
Oh, I love it.
But that's where like I think that is one of the best examples that you can curate for anybody to show them how much like business matters more than skill and more than your product. So that's just, if you're trying to aspire for anything, and even if you just want to set your own rates, like it's okay not like to be a solopreneur or a self-employed person, like that's cool. Like if you're currently like my father-in-law getting paid $25 an hour, where I know bodymen that get charge $100 an hour, 4 times the amount for doing the exact same kind of thing. That's cool. You just have to learn a little bit of that business side of things so you can be able to set your own rates, because every single person is good at something and gets paid for something right now, or you can't exist. So if you just figure that out and just figure out how to market that, and this is where Gary Vee like big stance is, it's like you have passion about something, so just do it and market it, and that exactly. But I mean, like, not trying to make fun of Gary Vee because I think he's amazing, but that's his whole big stance on everything. Like, there's something that you can get paid for, but like, and that you can set your own rates for, but you have to get there first, right? But you have to have that business side of things so you can set your own rates. I've seen people with shittier products and shittier mentorship than what I do, but they sell it for $10,000, and it's just like, I don't know how you do it. I don't feel right selling what I do for $10,000. Even though it has the value, like I teach people how to make 5 figures, but I don't agree with that. I'd rather help more masses of people. But yeah, it's just really look at the business side of things, and you can unlock so much more potential for yourself.
Yeah, that's exactly right. So just like I said at the beginning, don't focus on the 20%. It's the skill set, it's the harder part, and it's the smaller piece of the pie. So focus more on the 80%, the business, the easier side, the teachable side, and run with it. Just run with it.
And become the GOAT like Tom Brady.
That's right.
Yeah.
Be the Brady of business.
It'd be like Elon Musk, I think.
I think so.
That'd probably be Musk. I don't think any of us are tackling him, man.
No. Be the Musk of your own business.
Yeah, of your own, like, environments and everything like that.
Yeah.
So I love it. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for tuning in with us today. As always, we do appreciate you, but we do have a cool thing. We probably should have told people about this at the beginning. But as we're tiering up we're very close to hitting 2,500 followers. So what we're doing is once we do hit 2,500 followers, we're going to give away a $100 Amazon gift card. And we're going to give that to some random person that's commented on one of the videos from today, all the way to when we hit 2,500 followers. We're just going to go on one of the videos, click it, pick a commenter, and that person's going to be sent a $100 gift card. So please comment, guys. Like, you could win $100, and who doesn't want a free $100 for typing like one letter?
Yeah, exactly. So don't type just one letter though. Ask us a question. We'd love to engage with you in the comments. So again, guys, please hit that subscribe button, bell notification, so that you never miss any of these videos.
Have a good one, guys. Take care. See you next week.
See you guys.
Thanks for tuning into the Online Entrepreneur Experience. Don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss any episodes that we're releasing and any of these amazing pieces of value that we're giving out. And if you could take the time out of your day and leave us a review, we would be so grateful. We look forward to seeing you on that next episode.